They never told us this, that the first 30 minutes after we wake up could whisper something about how long we've got left. Not in some dramatic movie way, no, but in the small things, the way your body feels, the thoughts that come first. If you're over 60, or especially over 70, oh, you need to hear this. Because the signs aren't loud, they're quiet, easy to miss. But I've learned sometimes it's the quietest signs that say the most. Let me walk you through the 7 things I look for every morning now, and what they just might mean for our time ahead. You ever wake up after what should have been a good night's sleep and still feel like a truck hit you? Like your eyes open and already you're tired? I used to brush that off too. Oh, well, I'm just getting older, I'd say. But here's what no one really tells you. Chronic morning fatigue, so I'm talking that heavy, soul-deep tiredness. It's not just old age. It can be a quiet whisper from your heart, your lungs, your metabolism, that something deeper isn't right. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying one groggy morning means doom and gloom, but when it becomes a pattern, when your mornings feel like you're dragging a weighted blanket over your spirit every day, that's a flag. And here's the thing that shook me. Some studies show that persistent fatigue in older adults can be linked to lower survival rates. Why? Because it's not just about being tired, it's about your body struggling to recharge, struggling to repair. Your system's slowing down without telling you outright. I remember one week where I slept 8 hours a night, every night. No late night TV, no caffeine, but still, I'd wake up and feel like I hadn't slept in a week. That was the week I decided to listen. Not panic, not assume the worst, but really start observing myself. And you know what? I realized it wasn't just physical tiredness. There was emotional exhaustion buried underneath too. Loneliness, unspoken grief, worry, all quietly draining my reserves. So when you wake up and your very first feeling is fatigue, not hunger, not peace, not even a thought, but just weariness, please don't ignore that. It could mean your body's quietly fighting something. It could mean your soul is carrying too much, or both. And either way, it matters. It matters for your quality of life. It matters for your energy, your memory, your mood. And yes, it might matter for how long you stay on this earth. But here's the good news, and I say this with all my heart. Once I started listening to that morning exhaustion, I changed a few small things. I started breathing deeper in the morning, just sitting up, hands on my belly, and taking 5 deep breaths before I even stood up. I said out loud, I'm still here. I'm still needed. Let's make today lighter. And gradually, the heaviness didn't vanish, but it shifted. Because when you pay attention to your morning fatigue, you start catching the signals before they scream. So that's the first sign, my friend. Don't ignore the morning exhaustion. It's your body, and maybe your heart, asking you for something deeper. You know, it's funny. When I was younger, I never paid much attention to how I woke up. Morning was just morning. Hit the alarm, groan, coffee, go. You know the drill. But now, after 70, how I wake up tells me almost everything I need to know about my body that day. And some mornings, I wake up and think, okay, not bad. Let's do this. Other days, I open my eyes and feel like I've aged 10 years overnight. That's not just aging. That's information. See, waking up feeling refreshed after 70 is rare, and it's powerful. It means your heart likely got good rest. Your brain had time to repair, your immune system did its overnight sweep, and your nervous system? It didn't spend the whole night on alert from stress or inflammation. But when you wake up already tired, foggy, like your limbs weigh more than they used to, that's your body waving a little red flag. It doesn't mean anything terrible on its own, but if it becomes your normal, oh, then it's time to listen closer. Doctors don't always talk about this, but chronic fatigue in the morning, especially after full sleep, is one of the sneakiest signs that your body's systems aren't recovering. Could be your liver, your kidneys, maybe even sleep apnea, which gets more common with age, especially if you're carrying a bit of weight around the middle. And let me tell you, I used to think snoring was just snoring until my friend 74 started waking up gasping for air, and he thought it was just aging. Turned out it was sleep apnea. He got a CPAP machine, and I kid you not, he started looking 10 years younger in 3 months. Why? Because oxygen is life. And if you're not breathing well during sleep, you're slowly starving your organs. And every single night. So yes, if you're over 70 and still waking up clear-headed, calm, and rested, that's gold. That's a sign you've got some strong years left in you. But if mornings have become a battle, and if you drag yourself out of bed like you just ran a marathon in your dreams, don't brush it off. Track it. Ask your doctor. Don't settle for, I'm just getting older, because sometimes The real warning doesn't come from pain. It comes from silence, from that dull, quiet heaviness we try to ignore. And hey, if you've had more of those heavy mornings lately, don't panic. Just take it seriously. There's still time to change things, little by little. It's not about chasing youth. It's about giving your body the chance to show up every single morning for as long as it can. You ever notice your very first thought when you wake up? I didn't. Not for most of my life. But after 65, it started to matter. A lot more than I ever imagined. Some mornings I'd open my eyes and think, thank God I'm still here. Other mornings, it was just dread. No reason, just that cloud sitting on my chest like a weight. And here's what I've learned. Your first thought in the morning is like a weather report for your soul. If you wake up with curiosity, with something you're looking forward to, even something tiny like your favorite tea or a silly sitcom, that's a life signal. It means your spirit is still connected to living, not just surviving, but living. But if you wake up day after day with a sense of, here we go again, that's not just about mood. That's about purpose. And you know what happens when purpose fades? The body follows. Studies, the science folks back this up. They show that people with low emotional vitality in the morning tend to age faster, get sicker, and have a higher risk of cognitive decline. It's like the body says, well, if you're not excited to be here, why should I keep working so hard to stay? Now, I'm not saying we need to leap out of bed like we're 25 again. Please, my knees would protest that loudly. But do you have something, even just one thing, that makes you want to open your eyes? Because if you don't, it's time to get curious. Find something. Create something. Borrow someone else's joy if you have to. Start a tiny ritual. Light a candle. Feed a bird. Call someone you love. It's not silly. It's not too late. It's survival. One of the most dangerous symptoms after 70? Not chest pain. Not memory loss. It's the silent belief that you don't matter anymore. So if your first thought in the morning has been negative lately, don't ignore it. Don't push it down. Talk about it. Write it out. Let someone in. Because sometimes that one thought is your body trying to say, please, don't give up on me yet. And if your first thought this morning was peaceful or hopeful, even just a little curious, well then, friend, that's a beautiful sign. One of the best signs. And you should cherish it like gold. Here's a truth no one really prepares you for. Pain in the morning, it talks. Now, I'm not just talking about the usual creaks and groans. We all get those after 60, don't we? You sit up and your back says, not today. Your knees say, try me and you'll regret it. But what I've learned is this, it's not the pain itself that's the issue. It's where, how, and how often it shows up. You see, your morning pain is like an old friend that keeps showing up uninvited. But if you listen, it's actually telling you what's going on inside. For example, a deep stiffness in your lower back that takes more than 30 minutes to ease up. That could mean your spine's inflamed and your body's struggling to repair overnight. Tightness in your chest when you sit up, don't brush that off. It could be a circulatory issue. Not always serious, but it's your body whispering, check in on me. Even something as simple as your hands feeling like they've been dipped in cement. That's not just age. That could be inflammation, arthritis, or early nerve trouble. And here's where it gets real. People over 70 who ignore these signs, they tend to wait too long. They assume it's just part of getting old. And by the time they check, it's already affecting their independence. Now I know we've all been told to be tough, push through, don't be a complainer. But let me ask you something. Would you ignore your smoke alarm just because it goes off every morning? Of course not. So why ignore your body's alarm? Because pain in the morning isn't just discomfort, it's communication. It's your body's way of asking for support, for care, for attention, and yes, sometimes the answer is more stretching. Sometimes it's a warm shower or a better pillow or a visit to the doctor. But most importantly, it's about not pretending you're fine when you're not. You want to know how long someone might live past 70? Ask them how much pain they ignore every morning. The ones who listen to their bodies, who adjust, adapt, ask questions. Those are the ones still gardening at 85, still dancing in their kitchens, still living. So tomorrow, when you wake up and your hips shout a little louder than usual, don't sigh and say, oh well. Pause. Listen. Ask, what are you trying to tell me today? Because sometimes just listening is enough to change the next 10 years of your life. So, if any of this sounds familiar, if your mornings have been speaking to you in aches, stiffness, or silence, maybe it's time to stop brushing it off. After all, your body's not trying to scare you, it's trying to save you. The truth is, aging doesn't mean surrendering. It means paying closer attention, living smarter, choosing to care when it's easier to ignore. And hey, if this message touched something inside you, if it made you think about your mornings differently, then don't forget to follow along. Hit that subscribe button, share this with someone you love, and let's keep learning together. Because growing older is hard, but it doesn't have to be lonely. This is Elder Words, and you're exactly where you need to be.